This is the plaintiff, Michael Reichert. He says he bought a truck from the defendant with a warranty. While driving, the thing started making a terrible noise in a tunnel, so he pulled over and called the defendant. He told him he had to have it towed to the shop. The defendant refused to pick it up, and he didn't want to damage it further, so he called for a tow. Now he refuses to pay for the tow job, and according to his lawyer friend, the defendant should, because it's covered under the warranty. He's suing for $290.30, the amount he was forced to pay for the tow job. This is the defendant, Dan Jacobs. He says he fixed the truck, but tows are not covered and are the responsibility of the plaintiff. Besides, he could have just driven the truck to the shop. Bottom line, the plaintiff called and hired the tow truck, so it's the plaintiff's responsibility to pay for it, not his. He's accused of having a strict no-tow policy.
All parties, please raise your right hand.
And welcome back to the People's Court. Next case in the docket, the plaintiff says on top of buying a problem truck from the defendant, it broke down, and the defendant won't pay for the cost of towing it. But the defendant says he's not responsible for tows, period. It's the case of tow jam.
Okay, Michael Reichert, you are suing Bernie Jacobs, Mike Jacobs, Dan Jacobs, and Auto City LLC. You are?
Dan Jacobs.
You're Dan Jacobs representing for $290.30. That's $180 for a tow bill, and then your lost wages and postage.
Yes.
Okay, what happened?
Your Honor, on April 4th, I was driving through the tunnel on 93 South, headed back home, when my truck started shaking violently, and the wheel was going all over the place. My truck was getting real loud. I was heading I dropped my speed down to 40 miles an hour.
Now, you had bought the truck where?
Auto City.
How much earlier?
March 10th.
And this was on what day?
This was 25 days. I got a 30-day warranty for this.
Whew.
Yes.
Okay. By the hair of your chinny chin chin.
Exactly.
Go ahead.
Yeah. So I was driving through the tunnel about halfway. I put on my emergency lights when I noticed something was wrong, and I dropped.
How did you notice something was wrong?
It sounded like an airplane went right over my head. The engine got so loud, I didn't know what it was. I shut off my radio, and I was kind of freaking out, and then the wheel just started shaking, going like this, back and forth. Dropped my speed down. The slower I went, the better it was, but traffic was really heavy at that time going through the tunnel, so I just tried to make it out. I was going 40 in the right lane as everyone was behind me. I saw a breakdown lane. I pulled over right into it.
Okay.
I got in contact with them. I'm not sure who was on the phone, and I asked them what they wanted to do with the situation, and they said it is your responsibility to get the vehicle to us.
Okay.
So I said, okay, you don't have a tow truck or anything like that? They said, no, it's your responsibility to get the vehicle to us, and we can fix the damages since it's within the warranty date. After that, I called my mom. She got a towing company. 45 minutes later, they ended up picking me up, and then I went back to their store. We ended up just leaving the truck there in the parking lot. We ended up just leaving, going home. The next day came, I went to work. My friend Bill, he has a lawyer who deals with automobiles and things like that, so I asked him what to do. I gave him a call, and he looked up. I actually found it in the general laws, Chapter 90, Section 1, under the repurchase law. It says they are required to pay for the towing within like 30 miles of the tow.
Let me see what you've got.
Gotcha.
Now, did the car get fixed?
Yeah,
You guys fixed the car. That's not the issue. It's all about the tow, right?
Yes, exactly. Yep.
Did he ever, what's your position on the tow?
It's our policy that we don't pay for tows. I mean, we're a small dealership. We do everything the right way. You know, he called us up on April 4th, and my brother had answered the phone. He stated that he had an issue where the car was broken.
Right.
So we told him to get the car to us, and he said it needed to be towed. We said, why don't you just drive it to us, you know, and we'll fix it. He said the car was making noise, and he didn't feel comfortable driving it. We said, well, it's your responsibility to get us the car.
You don't really want him to drive it there, do you?
Well, now, looking back, it was safe enough to drive. Because
right, but when you're there and it's going, you really want him to be making that call?
No,
I mean, because if he blows the engine, you're going to be looking at me crying and saying, oh, no, wait a minute, Judge. We have a warranty, but he killed the car, and that's a superseding event. I know, because I've been here before.
No, but a reasonable thing to do would be have it towed.
Of course, that's what I'm saying. That's my point, is have it towed. But anyway, go ahead.
So he chose to have it towed. He chose to spend $180 for a 20-mile tow, which is ridiculous.
Do you guys have a tow truck?
We have a tow company that we would use.
Right. Did you give him the name of the tow company, or?
It never got to that. It was.
But didn't you call him from the scene?
Yeah, exactly.
But then they told you you're not the one who spoke to them.
No.
Okay.
It was my brother
It was
who
a different
would
Jacob.
talk
Okay,
to
and
him,
then
yes.
and then
He said,
they
"I'm
told you,
responsible for getting the
but they
vehicle."
wouldn't even give you the name. Hey, we use this
No.
guy. He's reasonable.
No.
It didn't get to that.
Nope.
Okay, when I look at your warranty, it doesn't talk about tow. It says we're responsible for parts and labor, but we can charge you up to 100, which is what the statute
Yeah.
says.
Yep.
And they paid for the parts and labor, and they
Yes.
charge. I assume they charge you
Yes,
100.
they did, yep.
Okay, so they did exactly what the statute says.
Yep.
There's a certain beauty in your argument. Look, Judge, I had to have it towed because the thing broke down. But there are things that are warranted and there are things that are not. It's not warranted. So now if you're telling me, but Judge, a statute makes them do it, the only time the statute talks about tow is when they're talking about something totally different that didn't happen in your case. Is there anywhere else? Because you say you talked to an attorney who had to do with auto stuff.
Yeah.
And so I gotta imagine maybe they said something other than this, because this doesn't do it.
They told me that, and I figured it was that. I looked up this personally. He's always busy, so I looked up that, and I saw 30 miles for the tow and everything, so I thought that was correct right there.
Yeah, it's just that's when they're buying the car back from you. I'm just sort of surprised that just as a customer service, somebody didn't say to him, we'll send our tow guy. He's really cheap, or something. Like, why didn't that happen?
It happened too quick. You know.
What's so quick? You're on the phone.
No,
Speak up.
he was on
Who's
the
your
phone.
brother who doesn't talk?
No. My brother's a salesperson, and I'm the one that would handle something like that. When I got in there, the truck was already towed to our shop.
Right.
So I'm the one that would handle normally.
So as a matter of customer service, did you just as a matter of business courtesy?
No, because once the truck got towed in,
why
that
did
was
you
never
say in your
brought
answer to
back
the
in.
complaint I would have paid half, but he had a bad? What was that about?
Okay, so should the plaintiff get the cost of towing?
No, he shouldn't.
Why?
The defendant, it was an unforeseen accident. When the truck broke down, the defendant didn't know the truck was going to break down.
Well, he must have had a feeling it might break down because it was an old truck and he gave him a warranty.
Yeah, but that's sales, stuff like that happens.
Can I just give you like an opinion here?
Yeah.
You're wrong. Going inside the courtroom.
If he would have came in with a reasonable tow bill, $100, we probably would have said, okay, we'll split that with you.
I would have split 180.
But for
So let me see if I've got this straight. I'm here for $90.
Exactly.
I mean, I don't mind because I got to be here anyway, and you're both perfectly pleasant gentlemen.
It's based on
but
principle at that
seriously,
point. It
do
has
you don't have
nothing to do
anything
with
better to
money.
do than be here for $90?
I do.
It's based on principle at that point.
Principle, but no, principle is like, feeding the hungry. It's, morality. This is just $90 for a tow, guys. This is not principle.
It was more of like a demand because he came in and said, my lawyer told me that you're
That's the
responsible for
problem.
this.
Never start with the my lawyer says. Because people that my lawyer
it
says,
wasn't
and
Mike.
all the hair starts rising on the back
It
of their.
wasn't Mike.
They get into defensive mode.
It wasn't Mike that came in with this demand. It was Mike's father.
Uh-huh.
And then he said at the
I
end of
was
the
at work.
conversation that I'll see you in small claims court. And I said at that point it was over because we knew that it's our policy that we don't pick up the bill for a tow.
I don't think that they have to. Even though I think that you did the right thing, and when someone does the right thing, I hate them not to get recompensed for it. But warranties on used cars are limited animals, by nature. They cover exactly what they say they cover, and nothing more. And this was a car that had how many miles on it?
99,000.
99,000 miles. And what the warranty is parts and labor for the repair. And they did that. And I think they did the part they have to do because the part of the statute that you're pointing to really doesn't apply to your situation. So in this case, I'm ruling in favor of the defense. Good luck.
You should realize warranties are always negotiable, so you can get in there and try to get what you want and get the seller to sign it.